Hey everyone, Szymanski back again with another video here. So if you've been following for a little bit, you know that about 2 weeks ago we got the email that Azlo was closing and that we had to, we haven't really gotten too much information about that since then, but in that 2 weeks I've done some research, some things have happened, and I want to provide an update on what I'm going to be doing and what I'm doing kind of moving forward with this whole situation, because I did have 5 accounts, as you could tell from my last video, on the Azlo platform, and we're going to need to figure out what to do if Azlo ends up not being in business here at some point in the future. So let's recap what has happened so far. If you're an Azlo customer, you got an email saying that Azlo is going to be closing, and obviously that triggers a lot of things in people's minds to think about alternatives. So I posted that video, tried to get it up as quickly as possible just because wanted to get it out there, posted it on a bunch of sites like Twitter, Instagram, and everything, and it gained a little bit of traction as far as feedback, right? Because that's ultimately what I was kind of looking for. I didn't really know what to do next. I didn't know of alternatives, and that helped. I got a lot of great feedback in the comment section, so thank you guys very much. But ultimately, we didn't really know what to do next, right? We still don't really have much information from Azlo. I haven't found too much. There's kind of rumors that PNC acquired BBVA. I think that's true, but they're obviously reassessing their goals, which makes sense. I kind of alluded to it a little bit, and the skeptical nature of the last video, kind of what we were speculating on. But Azlo customers will become BBVA customers and then ultimately transition to being PNC customers, is what the rumor mill and some reports and things like that are churning out. Now, I'll put a link in the description to the article that I found that on. I'll try to put cards throughout the video on the top here. But yeah, that's interesting to me. So I live in Pittsburgh, and I started my personal finance and my business financial career, if you will, through PNC, and I have since moved away from them. So I've had personal accounts there, I've had business accounts. I don't do business with them anymore. I just have one credit card through them. I'm not really saying anything bad about PNC. They're not like a terrible bank or anything like that, but I didn't really like the big bank mentality, especially for these small businesses that I'm starting. I wanted somebody that wasn't going to charge me different fees and things like that. I just wanted to stay lean, right? I think that's the big reason why a lot of us chose Azlo and these other types of smaller, more independent, small business banks like this. So I will probably not be sticking around to see what happens, and I would invite you guys potentially too. We don't know the timeline as of right now. It could be 6 months, it could be a year. I'm not exactly sure, but ultimately it seems like you will be, if you're an Azlo customer, if you're a Symbol customer as well, because they got shut down as well, you're going to be transferring from those to BBVA and then ultimately end up as a PNC customer. So if you'd like to do that, stay here and see what happens. Like I said, that being said, probably will not be doing that, and we'll see what happens as far as more information. But that's where we're at right now. So if you're like me and you're not a fan of that route, what do we do? Well, there was a couple good comments, and I've watched a bunch of business checking account financial videos and content on YouTube here. There are definitely alternatives. One of our viewers in the last video actually put a great short list together. I'll put the comment on the screen here somewhere, just to kind of show what the short list is. And a few of them I've heard of, and I'll kind of put my own order together here, because way back before I opened my Azlo accounts, I did other research, right? I just didn't just jump into Azlo. I was looking around at some other options, and from best to worst, or best to least known, was Novo, Mercury, Blue Vine, North One, and Oxygen. So I've definitely heard of Novo. That was my second choice when I opened Azlo. Mercury was also another top contender. I heard a couple things about Blue Vine that was pretty interesting, and I hadn't honestly heard of North One or Oxygen until I saw that comment. Looked a little bit into it. They seem pretty interesting. But the thing is, when you're dealing with a small business bank like this and not like a big brand name like a PNC or a Chase, it's tough because you want them to have a good track record, but you also don't want them to become a big bank ultimately. But there's no way to control that, right? We couldn't have predicted this with Azlo. We couldn't have predicted it with Simple. So that's just kind of the cards that you're dealt in a sense, and that's kind of how things work. But ultimately, Novo, Mercury, Blue Vine, those were kind of the top contenders for me way back when, before I opened Azlo. And now we're at this position where we have to kind of pick an alternative. So like I mentioned, when I put that video up and I posted it all out on social media, I got a bunch of feedback because I was tagging Azlo in the different things. And obviously, if you're in the financial space, you are definitely looking for that type of stuff. And the founder of Novo Bank actually reached out to me, a man named Tyler McIntyre, and he sent me an email. And he said, "Hey, Mark, we saw what you're doing. We'd love to kind of like partner up with you and have you become a Novo ambassador." Now, as soon as I got that email, obviously I was very interested in at least checking out the platform, but I was kind of concerned because I don't ever want to just jump into something and become a partner of a brand or, a service or anything like that, or a product, without actually understanding it and making sure that it's right for me so I could potentially recommend it to other people. So I was a little skeptical, but Tyler seemed like a great dude, and he immediately linked me up with his partnership team at Novo. So I hopped on a call with a member of their partnership team, and I asked a bunch of questions. I had things written down, some about like the actual partnership things, which we could go over if you're interested in like another video. But ultimately, I wanted to get more information on the actual platform. And before I even open a thing, like honestly, I don't want to open a bank account unless I have done my research and I've asked the questions. And I absolutely don't want to recommend it to anybody until I have those details and I've experienced it a little bit for myself. But we were on the call, seemed great, asked a bunch of questions. Specifically, they've been kind of targeting Azlo customers, obviously, because they were very similar in nature. There's not only are they small business banks, but I was told they kind of like came up together, the two brands. So it was the founders knew each other, everything like that. So that was an interesting story. I'm not sure of the entire backstory too, but what I know of it, it's quite interesting. And hopefully Novo will be able to just kind of take the torch from Azlo in a sense, because that's kind of what their marketing has shown. I mean, it's obviously a place that they can capitalize in. But from what I've seen, though, it's not just a baseless grab at trying to poach Azlo customers from a platform that is effectively going away here. It is legitimately the platform that is probably second best to Azlo, if not better, as time goes on. So I'll leave another link in the description and put a card up at the top here. That is the entire knowledge base for Novo Bank. It's the same type of thing that Azlo had as far as all the information that you get. So you can search there. You can talk about like different features, the things they do have, the things they don't have, all that sort of stuff. It's an incredible resource. So, if you're looking for a specific feature, then maybe you can find that in there or find out how to implement that and just kind of know before you kind of jump into getting a Novo account, for instance. Specifically, though, I wanted to talk about a couple real quick that I thought were particularly interesting. Novo directly integrates with TransferWise, which is a method of sending wires. So you can create a TransferWise account and you can link that to your Novo account, and then you can send wires, which I want to say that Azlo did not have that feature, or at least did not have outgoing wire send. That was something that I thought I was going to need at one point, but I just don't think that they really had that. So that's a nice feature that I think a lot of times in the couple other Azlo videos that I had, I know that was a big question. So that's one thing that's kind of really cool. And these next two actually blew my mind. So you can mail checks, which I think is similar to how Azlo used to work, but with Novo, you can go into the app and you can say, okay, I want to send this amount of money to this person. You can put in the details and they'll mail the check on your behalf. One step further, though, than that I know Azlo did not have, not really a big use case for me personally, but a lot of other people, again, you can actually buy checkbooks for Novo. You can get special, you like you would buy any other checkbook with Vistaprint or Deluxe or whatever. You can give the certain information and you can have a checkbook made up for your Novo account, which I know for a fact you could not do at Azlo. So if that is something that you love, that's definitely another reason to at least check out Novo. And the last one, which is kind of like a double-edged sword, because with these small business banks that are pretty much only online, it's not really a good idea to use them. It's not really recommended if you're a cash-based business, because it's very difficult to get cash into the actual bank account because there's no ATMs like a PNC would have to deposit cash, or like an actual branch where you can deposit cash. However, this is another key one-up of Novo as compared to Azlo. You can actually mobile deposit money orders. So if you did have, for instance, $500 in cash or something like that, and it was more of a one-time thing, you could go get a money order. And I think that costs money, but you kind of get the point. You get that money order and you can deposit that via the app, and that is kind of like a workaround for getting cash into the account, which at least it's an option. If it's a once in a while thing with cash for you, then I think it's a great thing, because again, I do not think Azlo offered that. So after weighing all of that, after knowing what Azlo is going to end up doing, or potentially what they're going to end up doing as far as closing and becoming PNC customers and all that, looking at the different options that I had pre-Azlo and even more research done kind of in that interim there, and then chatting and kind of doing more research specifically on Novo, I have pretty much made the decision and started to move forward with that. At the end of the day, I'm not really in the business of reviewing like every bank. So I would encourage you guys to kind of do your own research on those other platforms. They might be right for you. They might not be right for you, right? I mean, maybe Mercury is better in certain aspects, Blue Vine, each one is probably going to have a specific feature set and like one or two things that kind of sets them apart. But the big things are always going to be the same, right? Especially with these banks, the reason we kind of came to them: low fees, or no fees actually, no minimum balances, all online, good technology. Those are things that are staples. But I know, for instance, Blue Vine, one of the commenters also said that they have 1% checking on their interest, like for interest checking. And that's definitely a good feature. I don't know if it's going to matter for most business owners, but again, it's all what your priorities are. It's all really where you want to kind of end up putting your money. And I would just recommend, again, to kind of do your own research and due diligence on all of those platforms. That being said, I made the decision to at least give Novo a shot and ultimately potentially partner with them. So I opened the first account, and the platform honestly looks great. It's probably as good as, if not better than, Azlo. It's got iOS and Android apps. The user interface is simple and intuitive. It pretty much has the entire same feature set, along with a couple of those other things that I mentioned that kind of one-up it. So I'm very pleased to this point. Now, as I mentioned though, I do have 4 other accounts that I need to get on a platform. Whether it'll be Novo or not, I'm not exactly sure. I think that there's a very good likelihood from everything that I've seen. However, I have honestly not even given the platform a entire full overview and everything that I knew about Azlo. I want to kind of have that same type of thing. I put up a video on my channel, like I mentioned in the previous video when Azlo was closing. I mentioned that at the beginning of December in 2020, I put up this beautiful 30-minute video of the whole application process and the platform overview of Azlo. That is what is coming for Novo. I'm going to do the exact same thing because I have more accounts to apply for, and I want to kind of do a whole like deep dive on the platform. So the next video that I publish will be that. So make sure you subscribe if you're watching this now, so you get notified, and click the little bell icon to get notified of when that goes live. So definitely stay tuned for that video. But in the meantime, if you've already heard of Novo, if you're interested in it, if you're ready to just pull the trigger on it, if this video has helped in any way and you would like to support the channel, you can definitely use my affiliate link. It's markjoszymanski.com/Novo. It's in the description. I'll try to put it in a card up at the top of the video here. Do not feel obligated to do that, obviously, but I greatly appreciate it if you do, because it just helps out the channel, helps me continue to make more videos like this, and just continues to help me do what I like to do. But with that being said, thank you so much for clicking on the video. I greatly appreciate it, and I will talk to you in the next one.